share the meeting with the guys on Huddle as well. So appreciate everybody coming on and sharing half hour of your night. I think it's important that we kind of talk about some of the guidelines and things that we have placed going into July. And
catch the ball.
That's Stephen. Going into next week. So again, it's not a perfect system. You know, everybody's learning through this whole situation. Obviously, it's new for everybody. So, you know, again, we kind of go right into it. Our number one priority and what we are not going to compromise is player safety. So it's not going to be perfect. You know, I don't think.
Coach Shannon, I cannot hear you.
Say it again. You cannot hear me? Can you hear me now? All right. So again, the number one priority that we're going to be following is player safety. Can everybody see the PowerPoint here? Give me a thumbs up. Awesome. Okay. So player safety. The number one thing that we're going to do is we're going to acclimate. You know, we've been working out for going on probably 14 weeks right now, but we're not dummies. We know like everything we're going to ask them to do is going to be significantly harder, but we're going to acclimate. So our job on July 6th is not to see who's been working out and who hasn't. We don't want to do that. We're going to ease into this. And you know, we're going to ask them to work. We're going to have high expectations. But, again, we're going to build in a lot of water breaks and be very, very smart and diligent about player safety. We're going to follow the rules. So, you know, everything that we're being told is masks are highly recommended. Okay. Now, that being said, when a player's on the field and going through a workout, we're going to group them and position them to where they're socially distant. And when they're exerting any sort of energy and breathing heavy, obviously a mask can make that difficult. So, you know, we obviously wouldn't want to have masks on at that time. When they're filling up their waters at a water station, if they're in groups and you know, 6 feet apart is more difficult, then we would recommend that they wear masks. Coaches are going to do everything that they can to have masks on all the time. If they got to take it down to take a drink of water, do that. Again, everything that we're doing is about player safety. We're going to follow the number of practices per week that we're allotted. We're actually doing one less conditioning session each week than we're allotted. We're going to practice social distancing, all that stuff. So one thing I do want to make clear is football it's a highly popular sport and people watch it very closely. So, you know, that being said, we're going to make sure again that we're monitoring, we're following the rules, we're doing everything that we have to and that we're required to do. Now, that being said, again, we have 22 practices to get ready for West Lafayette. So we're going to continue to push the envelope. We're going to acclimate them early, but each practice and each session is going to get progressively more difficult, again, in preparation for West Lafayette. Every practice, every workout session is critical. So I do want to stress that. You know, when we talked back a few months ago, we talked about vacations and things like that. Obviously, we can't prevent that. Everything's technically optional. It's not mandatory. But playing time, also guys that are around and able to execute and do what they need to do, that are in shape and ready to roll, those are going to be the guys that play. So priority number one, player safety. Okay, and again, we've got to get ready to win football games as well. Final forms must be completed. Okay, you can see here down at the bottom, 86 guys we have on our final forms roster as of 5 o'clock. 66 of them are complete and ready to roll. Okay, now that being said, we've got about anywhere from 115 to 125 guys that we're anticipating playing football this year. Okay, we're expecting about 80 to 83 JV varsity football players. Still unsure of what our freshman numbers are going to be. All right, but in order to do that, another thing we're seeing is guys aren't selecting football. So maybe a sophomore, junior, senior that was on final forms in a previous year didn't select football as the year before, so they're not showing up in our system at all. Cordier, you're one of them. All right, so we've got to make sure that we're selecting football for this season as an option, along with whatever other sports you plan to play. You must have a parent signature, must have a player signature. You must have you must complete the IHSA questionnaire. Kyle Zickman, I know a week ago his parent and player signature was done. Okay, but since then, our athletic office and the IHSAA mandated that we have an IHSAA questionnaire that has to be filled out. One of the questions on there is, have you had a concussion within the last 12 months? Have you had surgery within the last 12 months? And if you answer yes to any of those 5 questions, then you have to have another physical prior to July 6th. If you have a physical in the system already, then you're good to go if you answer no to all of those questions. Okay, and again, if you have more questions on that later, feel free to ask. But Final Forms just got that made it digital to where you don't have to print it, and it's all taken care of on the system. So everybody has to go back and do that if you have not already. Coach Mundell's been great about communicating with all of you guys. Make sure you're getting that done. If you do not have it done on July 6th, you cannot participate. Okay, over the last 3 months, we've missed out on a lot. We don't want to miss out on more. All right. Again, you can go to broncoathletics.com, go to the More tab, go to online registration, and get that party started. All right. Here's our July calendar. Okay, and this should be shared on all of our social media platforms. If you want to text me to get a link for this, most of you have my number. Shoot me a text, and I can send you a picture of this so you have it on your phone. What we're going to start every day at 4 o'clock. We're starting at 4 o'clock. So if you're arriving at 4 o'clock, you're late. All right. And I'll go more onto how the start of that's going to look later. Okay. For the first 2 weeks, JV and varsity are going to practice separate from the 9th graders. All right. It's easier for us to separate during workouts. It's harder for us to separate during practice and keep social distancing. All right. We're also going to treat that as kind of a mini camp of sorts for incoming freshmen. So that's their practices on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Following workouts are going to be coached by our varsity staff. Okay. So Tuesdays will be all offensive days. So Josh Millian, okay, you played a lot of different positions last year. We're going to evaluate you as an offensive player on Tuesday. Okay. We're going to evaluate you as a defensive player on Thursday. Okay. So for those first 2 weeks, they're practicing separate. When we get to July 20th, everybody's going to practice together. All right. Freshmen, you will participate in weights at 4 o'clock on Monday. Tuesday, you are not required to be at Lafayette Jeff for football on Wednesdays. Back at it on Thursday. Okay, we're giving everybody, parents, players, coaches, 3-day weekend. You've had enough time taken away from you, as have our coaches. We want you guys to enjoy your summer, so we're very intentional in the fact that we're giving you guys 3-day weekends. Okay, we're front-loading our weeks to demand that we get a lot done early in the week, let you guys enjoy and earn your weekends. Okay, any questions on the July calendar? All right, again, first 2 weeks, we're not going to have any equipment. Next 2 weeks, from what I've been told from the IHSA, from our athletic department, it's going to look very normal, like a normal practice, although locker room capacity is going to change a lot. Anybody have a question? All right, moving on. And I'm going to buzz through this very quickly. You guys should have maybe seen a lot of this. July calendar students are going to be limited to 15 hours per week. School contact activities includes conditioning and sports specific activities. No sport can have you cannot practice more than 2 days a week in the month of July. Okay, you can condition and do weight training 4 days a week. You can only have 2 practices per week. And if somebody's having more than 2 practices, then they're not following the rules. We're going to follow the rules. All right. All summer activities are voluntary. Playing time is not for everybody. I will say that as well. Okay. It's an expectation that you're there. All right. This was given to me. This will be board approved on Monday. All right. So I can't distribute this information until it's board approved, although I do have it. This is what our athletic department proposed to our school board. We got the thumbs up from the cabinet. It hasn't been voted on yet, so it can't be released. Football athletes. So football athletes can use locker room at 50% capacity July 20th. Designated restrooms will be open and cleaned daily by custodial staff. So the locker room is going to be locked, but the restrooms next to the concession stand will be open to be used for players while they are working out. All first-time student athletes must have an IHSA physical. So if you're new to the program or new to LSC, you must go get a physical. You must complete the IHSA questionnaire. I've already said that. High-risk individuals, asthma, concussion history, COVID, respiratory issues, things like that, you need to consult with a physician before July 6th. Talked about the 15 hours already. Face masks are voluntary for student athletes, but strongly recommended if not involved in vigorous activity. Okay, and again, I'm not here to debate with anything. Obviously, there's a lot of studies that say it prevents the spread. I want to have a football season. I want our seniors to have a football season. I want our community to be able to enjoy a football season. So, again, I don't necessarily enjoy wearing the gaiter, but I really love football, and I really enjoy being around your kids every day. So we got to follow that and do the best that we can with that. Again, it's not up for a debate. The athletes selling face masks, the athletes selling gaiters. I bought 2 gaiters off Amazon for $10. They're really easy to take up and down. Okay, highly recommended. It is recommended for all coach and medical staff to wear face coverings unless engaged in vigorous activity. Student athletes will wear appropriate clothing. So a lot of guys like to take their shirts off. We're instructed, Steve and Stephanie, I know you like to get out there in the field and take your shirt off. We've got to have a shirt on at all times. Again, we've got to follow the rules. All right, so that's the rules that we have to play by. I don't make them. We will have to enforce them. Absolutely no sharing of clothing, shoes, towels, or water bottles. You must bring your own bottle of water or beverage container. We'll talk more about that here in a second.
Coach Dan, I got a question.
This about your shirt.
Yeah. Can
Okay.
I cut it to like paper thin? But it's still a shirt, but like it's like still parts of the shirt, but like it's just like
You have
a
to wear a
really
shirt at all times.
so it can be a cutoff.
You can wear a cutoff, yes.
All right.
Okay, good question. Coaches will instruct student athletes, but have minimal contact. Hand sanitizer is going to be available. We don't have a ton of it, but we do have it. We're going to have that space by the gate where our water filling station is at. So if kids want to sanitize at every water break, they're encouraged to do that. They're encouraged to sanitize at the start of practice, during breaks, throughout. It'll also be in the weight room. Any school-provided equipment such as balls, shields, blocking dummies will be sanitized before and after each session by the coaching staff. I threw away a bunch of old pads that had exposed foam. Okay, there's a lot of studies that say it's not transferable by touching different objects. That it's from the mouth, but nonetheless, we are going to be very cautious in making sure that we're keeping equipment clean. You are expected to shower at home and wash clothes immediately upon returning each day. Okay, phase 1. I'm not going to read all this stuff, but again, I'm going to cover some of it later. The key difference from in phase 1 to phase 2, no locker rooms are allowed in phase 1. Phase 2, they're allowed at 50% capacity. So again, that's going to look different for guys. It's not going to be ideal, but we're going to make the most of it. Again, we want to have football, so we've got to be really smart about this.
So with that 50%, are we doing like offense and defense?
Likely, yeah. Again, that's still something we got a couple weeks before we decide upon that, but we'll likely have offense and maybe the freshman locker room because there's fewer guys. Defense will likely be spread out in the varsity locker room because there's more guys. Freshmen will likely be in the school building. All right, and where that is, I don't quite know yet. But again, we gotta be vigilant and intentional with how we space guys out, and we will be. All right, we are going to have, I don't know what I just did there. We're going to have running water constantly out at the stadium. So when guys want to fill up, they can't fill up and drink from a faucet. Okay, but if they have a beverage container, they can fill that up. It'll be running constantly. They're not going to have any contact with that. Okay, and obviously when we're doing that, we're going to be spaced out, socially distant, all that jazz. All right, any questions so far? Phase 2, that July 20th, we're going to put the shoulder pads on, we're going to put the helmets on, and we're going to acclimate appropriately there. Start to scrimmage and go against each other. Again, what I'm told from the IFCA, from our athletic department, is that, phase 2, July 20th, is going to look a lot like a normal summer. Okay, again, while maintaining social distancing. Okay, now, here's where we start getting into some more structured stuff. So everybody please pay close attention as it relates to Lafayette Jeff. Okay, July phase 1, car, field, car. Kids are not to go into the locker room, okay? If you guys can see, right here is our parking lot. This is Teal Road. I would prefer you guys come in off of, I believe this is 22nd Street. Come into the parking lot, drop off here. Kids, you're going to go through the gate, okay, on the south entrance to Schumann Stadium, okay? Questions there? Okay, moving on. So when you arrive for the first 2 weeks, okay, you're coming through these gates. Follow my little arrows here. Freshmen, okay, you're going to put your stuff right here at the fence. Okay, and we're going to be sharing this field. Soccer is going to be getting off of it on Mondays around the time that we're coming in. All right, JV varsity, you're going to put your stuff along this gate, and if it needs to trail there. Okay, bring all of your bags, belongings, and store them along the fence on the track. The suggestion is that you put your name on all of your stuff, your beverage containers. Austin McKinney, your mom showed me the beverage container that you made with all of your crafting. I thought it was really cool. All right, great idea. All right, that way somebody doesn't mistake it as yours. Note, we will not be able to lock or secure anything. So if you're bringing a wallet full of $100 and it disappears, I can't help you. I'm sorry, that stinks. I wouldn't bring anything of any sort of value and leave it in that bag. Okay, so that's just my recommendation. I wouldn't bring AirPods. I wouldn't bring all that stuff. They're not going to use it during practice anyway, so keep it at home. Keep it at home. Bring only the stuff you need for practice. All right. Again, that's going to be stored there. Freshmen here, okay, when we get on where the entrance to the field is at, JV varsity will stretch it out as far as they can from there. Okay, from there, when you arrive, okay, we will start taking attendance and we will give warm-ups at 4 o'clock. Everybody's been divided into pods of no more than 14 people. We have some as few as 8. All right, these are going to be the people that you're working with and training with all summer. All right, especially through phase 1. All right, so, for example, group 1 is going to be on the goal line, 10 yards apart. It's going to be group 2 all the way down to group 10. Okay, that's how we're going to do that. All right, and then when 4 o'clock hits, we're going. It's go time. All right, it's go time. So we're going to take attendance with the coaches. We're going to have a coach assigned to each pod. Okay, boom, we go right. OGD is going to go right into our warm-ups. From there, he'll give directions on where everybody's going and what we're doing for the day. All right, the first 3 weeks are going to look very similar as well in terms of the workouts and where people are going. From there, we'll say this, new equipment is started arriving today for the new weight room. 50% capacity per our CDC and school corporation is 100 kids in that weight room. Okay, we're not going to touch 100 over the summer, all right, but we may be at 50 to 60 in the weight room at one time. Okay, the first phase 1, we cannot do any lifts that require a spotter. All right, so keep that in mind, and that's how we'll program things. Okay, we're going to be smart about it. We may have guys on the side of something in case something bad were to happen. They're there to prevent major injury, okay, or any kind of injury. But our workout locations will be on the field and in the weight room, the new weight room. All right, what to wear? Okay, mandatory that you have a T-shirt. If it is a cutoff, that is fine. Shorts, socks. You need to bring shoes and cleats every single day. Okay, it is highly recommended that you have a mask. I personally wear a gaiter. It does not have a skull like this. But it is going to be LJ, the athlete, selling those, I believe, for $10. All right. Highly recommend that you bring a mask. The gaiter is super simple. A lot of guys, when it gets cold, they wear them and play with them anyways. All right. That thing you can just take up and down. It doesn't make your ears go forward and get all uncomfortable behind your ears like a mask. Highly recommend the gaiter. What to pack each day? Suggestion. I would bring a cooler. I would pack a cooler with bottles of water. Pack it full of ice, Gatorade, whatever. Okay. Mr. Clevenger said, save some milk jugs, fill it full of water, freeze it overnight, bring that in when you come in. You can fill it up full of the rest of the water the rest of the way. That should help keep it cold. Okay. That's old school. But if you want to drink cold water throughout, and those things can kind of go with you wherever you go during practice. Last thing here in terms of what to bring each day. In previous years, we've so from 4 o'clock to 5:30, we do our workout. From 5:30 to 6 o'clock, it's kind of a recovery time. Our mom squad has brought in fruit, and we've provided our guys with protein or chocolate milk over the last 5 years as kind of a recovery and to refuel before we go to practice. I highly recommend you have something packed in your bag, whether it's as a protein, you pour some water in it, chug it after your workout, and get the carbohydrates and get that protein in your body, help you recover and fuel up before the next 2-hour workout or practice. All right. Any questions on what to pack each day from a clothing perspective or hydration?
So some
Okay, you
days,
cannot, if anybody shows up and they don't have a bottle of water, okay, they cannot go to a faucet and stick their mouth underneath it. Okay, so everybody has to bring their own beverage container. That's mandatory. We cannot provide them. We will not provide them. That's what we've got to do every single day. Any questions on that?
I don't know if I have it by Monday.
Okay, moving on. Other items to pack in your bag for practice, maybe an extra t-shirt to ride home. Mouthpieces are going to be recommended. Get used to breathing through those things, especially for practice. Again, I talked about masks, maybe even your own hand sanitizer. All right, questions there? What is staying in your locker? So for phase 2, starting July 20th, helmets, shoulder pads, cleats, those can stay in your locker. You cannot, and we've got a number of guys that have done this in the past, that have left their clothes in their locker, that have left their girdle in their locker. You're going to need to take those home and bring those back every single day. Every single day, okay? And I know that there's going to be people monitoring that. They're going to go through and spray your lockers down every single night and disinfect every single night. All right? So nothing made of cloth stays in your locker at any point. All right? And that's pretty standard. That's everywhere throughout the state. It's everywhere that's trying to have a football season. Everybody's doing that. So nothing other than shoulder pads, helmets, and cleats stay in your locker. Heat and illness prevention. Our goal is to have, we have 2 tents. So our goal is to set up 2 tents on the track. We've got 2 of these immersion tubs that we can fill full of ice and water in the event that somebody starts to overheat. Okay, but here's the deal. I don't know if you guys have seen the forecast for next week. It's going to be very hot. That field gets about 10 to 15 degrees hotter than the outside temperature. All right, if you are not getting outside and not acclimating yourself with this hot weather, going for a walk, going and hooping, okay? You know, even Stephen Stephanie, I don't know if that guy has hit the rim since kindergarten, all right? But he needs to go outside and play some basketball or do something over the next few weeks or over the next few days to get used to breathing in this hot air, okay? And start hydrating now. Don't wait till Sunday. Don't wait till Monday to start hydrating and pounding water. Start doing it now, all right? Emergency water is going to be available, 2 cold tubs, covered all that. Any questions on heat and illness prevention? Okay, you need to be proactive in that yourself. Okay, make sure you're getting outside. Make sure you're being active this week. Don't be sitting on the couch in the air conditioning. Lifting groups, size of the pods, I covered that. 10 total pods, grades 9 through 12. Coach will be assigned each pod to take attendance each and every day. Lifting will be done both inside and outside in July. We'll sanitize the equipment at the beginning of each workout and at the conclusion of each workout. Okay, again, they'll have sanitizer options. If they want to sanitize after every lift on their hands, by all means, feel free. Okay. Offense and defense is going to practice on the opposite sides like we've done previous years. Phase 1, we cannot join together at all. There's a number of guys we've talked about being 2-way players. They cannot be 2-way players during phase 1. They've got to stay in their pods. And obviously, we're going to do some special teams work. Special teams will be doing that within their pods. End of practice meeting. So obviously, we have announcements each and every day. We're going to go back to our attendance lines. We'll do announcements from there. Again, lifting partners and groups will be the same throughout the month of July. Moving on. Disinfecting and cleaning. We talked again. I'm sure I'm getting repetitive. No showers at school. Do it at home. We'll wipe down beginning and in practice, and we'll have hand sanitizer everywhere. Talked about that. Coach is going to go through training related to COVID-19 symptoms. We are going to be expected to wear a mask at all times unless it's difficult to breathe or whatever, or we're exhibiting any sort of energy. Whistleblowers are going to try to be at least 15 feet away from all kids participating in practice. It is suggested that there's no physical contact with players, no holding of bags during phase 1. Phase 1, all film sessions will be held on Huddle or Zoom. Phase 1, we will do whiteboards and install sessions under the bleachers between weights and practice. That half-hour buffer where we get kids and they take the recovery drinks, drink water, Gatorades, protein, all that. That is kind of, we've typically done those in meetings in the locker room. We'll do those under the bleachers and space out during phase 1. We will not be inside at all during phase 1. COVID-19 symptoms. I don't mean to insult anybody's intelligence here. But people with COVID-19 have had a wide range of symptoms reported. Some of those include, but are not limited to, fevers and chills, cough, shortness of breath, fatigue, muscle or body aches, headaches, new loss of taste or smell, sore throat, congestion of the nose, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. The main thing is we ask you guys as parents to check their temperature before they come each and every day. If they have a temperature of 104 degree or 100.4 degrees, keep them home. If they feel sick, keep them home. Obviously, communicate that with us. But if they have any sort of symptoms, do not send them to school. Do not send them to practice. Okay? So a little graphic here to kind of support that. Again, restrooms are going to be available. Locker rooms will not. If you have a fever of 100.4 or greater, stay home. If you have a cough, chills, shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, or a rash, stay home. You don't have all that? Giddy up. Let's roll. Okay? Helpful hints: avoid physical contact when not in activity. So high fives, knuckles, things like that, hugging it up, celebrating, doing all that. We got to try to avoid that. Okay? Going to be a change of lifestyle for some of us. Spitting. Okay? Try to avoid it. No sharing of personal items, especially stuff that we're drinking from, clothing, things like that. All right? Made it through in 28 minutes. So at this time, if anybody's got any questions, anything that we need to cover, go back and touch on, we will open it up for questions. If not, again, I want to reemphasize, final forms have to be done. If you answer yes to any of those questions, you must go and get a physical and bring it to the school to participate on July 6th if you answered yes to any of those questions. Okay, if you're not cleared on final forms, can't go. All right? Water bottles, get outside, start acclimating yourself to this heat. We're excited, man. It's been a long time. We can't wait to get back to work with your kids. Get ready for a season. We've got high expectations at all levels. Okay, at all levels, we've got very high expectations. It's a fun group. It's a hardworking group. They've been busting their butt through this quarantine, and I'm excited to see it pay off on the field come August 22nd. Anybody have any questions?
I got a question.
What's up, Hezzy?
Do you know how like the school year is gonna work? Like when is our first game?
So that news is going to come out Monday. Sounds like there's a board meeting on Monday. Proposals have been sent to the school board. We'll see, when that news breaks, what our school year is going to look like.
And do you know like what day is our first game scheduled to be?
August 22nd.
Okay.
At West Lafayette.
All right.
Good. Any other questions? It looks like
Coach.
some people are maybe typing some in.
Coach, is there any guidelines yet on fans in the stadium for the games?
Yeah, so there is a chance. So if we scrimmage, our scrimmage versus Pike is scheduled for August 14th. If it is August 14th, there are no fans. Okay, in terms of if we want fans and we move it to Saturday, fans can be there. Now, what that's going to look like, I know that proposals have been made by our athletic department, but nothing has come to my knowledge or been presented to me on exactly what that's going to look like. As soon as we know, we'll obviously communicate that with everybody.
Coach Stanley,
Yep.
this is Moose's mom.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
The shoes that we ordered through the IU thing, have we got those yet? Or
Yeah. So IU, it's a discount store on IU's campus, and at the time that we proposed that idea, their campus had not been shut down yet, and we didn't really have any idea on how long it was going to be shut down. We had no idea what we were in store for. It's still not open. So it would be my recommendation. I know Angela's aware of that. I don't know when it's going to be open, and I don't know how soon we're going to get it down there, but I'm confident it's not before July 6th. So we have some cleats up here at the school that we can give the kids and let them use for free. We'll just put those out in trays or in tubs on July 6th, and they can sort through those if they want. But I was just looking on Adidas.com, and there's some really nice cleats for anywhere between $50 to $70 that are high end.
I got another question.
And all that. So I don't know if that answers your question. Unfortunately, again, when that whole thing, that idea was floated out there, we had no idea that IU or anybody was going to be shut down like it has been. So I don't have a great answer for that. But I do know that.
I don't want to go out and buy new ones. We've already paid for those,
Right, and I know Angela could refund you for that. So yeah, I mean, again, if it's me and without any guarantee or knowledge of when it's going to open up, I would probably get my money back and get online and buy some new ones. But I know
Okay,
that's not
and-
ideal and it's not very convenient, but at that time, at least you know that you have some control of when it's going to arrive.
Right, and then one other thing with the practice pack, I know it said that you have that stuff and that gets delivered out to the kids. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
so it actually just came in today. I went up to the school and Mr. Casasana from the athlete dropped it off. I've got it in our equipment room. Our plan is to distribute that on Monday.
On Monday. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Coach, I got a question.
What's up?
So for my asthma, do my doctor gotta send a note?
It says you have to consult with your physician. So what that means, I'm not sure, honestly. So I would just check with your physician and make sure. Obviously, following the mask guidelines is something I would highly recommend that you do. But I would, again, just like it says, I would consult with your physician. But I can check with Mr. Clevenger, see if we need to have any sort of documentation on our end.
I have documentation
The only thing
about,
I've read is you need to consult with your physician.
okay, I do have documentation about the severity of it and that he's okay to participate. So I can have them send that again and I can email that to you.
That would be great. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I got a question again.
What's up, Hezzy?
Okay, so do we have to wear the Adidas cleats at practice or no?
No. At
Okay.
practice, you do not have to wear Adidas, but on Friday nights, we have to wear Adidas everything. I had a text message from a kid at 1 o'clock this morning, believe it or not, wanting to know if he could wear an Oakley visor this year. The answer is no, okay? Their compliance department is all over. They sent an email to Mr. Casasana at the athlete because he did not have enough Adidas items on our practice pack. They were watching
Right.
our football program like hawks. We have one of the largest Adidas contracts in the country. And that's money that goes to our athletic department that helps keep everything, running how we all want it to run. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Yeah.
we're going to follow those guidelines. We've got to have Adidas cleats. If you have gloves, I would recommend that they need to be Adidas. Face mask, Adidas. If you have armband, sleeves, Adidas.
All right.
Good question. Thank you, Hezzy. But at practice, if you have practice cleats that are Nike, we're not sweating that. Okay. But on Friday nights, what we're wearing needs to be, we're living that 3-stripe life, brother. All right. So that's what we got to do. Anybody have any other questions? All right. If I see on here, okay.
Hey, Coach.
Question on, practice packs, we're good on that. Again, that stuff arrived today. We'll just do our best to get all of that distributed on July 6th, on Monday.
Hey, Coach.
Yes.
I just wanted to tell you that Ian and Brandon were here with me.
Great. Thank you. We'll see you guys Monday.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? All right. Well, once again, certainly appreciate you guys jumping on tonight. If you have any other questions, feel free to email me or text me or call me anytime. We're going to get through this. We're excited about the season. We're going to do our best. Again, number one, most important thing for us is player safety. We're going to do everything in our power to follow the guidelines as they're written, to follow the rules as they're given to us, to make sure that we're keeping everybody safe, players, coaches, all included. So that being said, we're going to get to work. We're going to acclimate, and we're going to progressively increase the rigor of what we're doing and what we're asking of them, but we're going to be smart about it. So if nobody has any other questions at this time, I'm going to go ahead and log off, and we'll do our best to get this uploaded as soon as possible onto Facebook and Huddle. Any more questions? Great. We'll see everybody Monday. Go Broncos.